Hey, Allie, I'm going to go ahead and send you this file in case you want to use it. I don't know if you do. If you figured it out, then that's great, but I thought I'd just send it to you anyway. So I did make a panel that you can just pick it and sort of flip it between closed and open, or just adjust the, you know, variably like how open and closed it is, you know. So the way that it's made is if I tab into this repeat and I edit the family, there's a frame in here that actually holds. Let me go ahead and set it to the closed version so it's not looking kind of funny. And set it to closed. All right, so it has two nested families, the bottom frame and the top frame. The trick was when this one gets a little wonky on the sides, it's hard to keep it all centered. But if you take a look at this, what this frame does with these, it passes parameters through. And if you really want a longer explanation, I'll give it to you. But if you look at the family types parameter dialog box in here, you have the frame size here. So if I take the frame size down to 50 and hit apply, right, all the frames get smaller. Or if I did 150 and hit apply, they all get bigger. So we'll leave them at, I don't know, let's leave them at 50. And then, of course, this controls the tube radius. So if I did 100, right, and apply, the tubes will get real big, but I'll take them down to maybe 30 and hit apply, and they get real small. It's not perfect. There are some things that don't quite work, but if you want to continue with it, this controls the frame height of the top. So if I go 1500 and apply, right, that gets smaller and that gets smaller. The center offset controls where the center of these guys is in relation to the bottom, right? So if I take that to 2000 and hit apply, right, it moves it down, or wherever you want those centers to be. So I'll just do this at 1500 and apply. And then the angle, of course, controls the angle of rotation of the pieces, which you've seen before. And the panel base is basically controlling the size that you may want the additional, that's sort of the base. So like if this guy came down to here and then slanted that way, that would be the panel base. And then the add left and the add right lengthen these two. So for example, if I do add right to 2000 and apply, right, it lengthens that one by more. So if it was like 0 here and apply, it'll flip those two. Let's see. Oh, but you have to be careful because I broke something, right? Because it got shorter than this overlap, so you don't want to do that. So there are some things that if they overlap, you don't want this leg to get shorter than this because there's a line that goes from here to here that has to be maintained in order for it to work. So look out for that kind of stuff, but hopefully you won't run into that. And then the column half controls the spacing once we repeat it. And the mid offset controls how deep these guys go, right? And then I think that's about it for right now. And then what happens is, let me go ahead and set this guy back to closed. And then you can, oh, come on. Closed. There we go. And then you can come in and I'll just delete this guy. And I just did a line. You could do a surface, but you can bring this guy in and I'll just use the closed one. And sometimes it depends on which side you pick. So if I go left click here and left click here, right, and then I just repeat it, it repeats it correctly. But if I start at the other side, it does something a little funny. But now you've got this guy repeated on there. It has the spacing of 50 right there. And then you can kind of control it, like pick this and go to open and closed. and variable and adjust it through the types. You would then, this family that I'll send you to, you would just load this into a project, right? And you would come back here and adjust it and then reload it and reload it. The other thing that I'll show you is I've made a dynamo definition. Like if you wanted it to slant at this distance, each one of these, you could go in and individually adjust the right and left offset, for these guys. Or you could use a dynamo definition. So I'll show you that next.